we experience ourselves as separate from God, and we willingly, voluntarily, willingly accept His kingship over us. So you might think that Malchus kingship means avoid. That it means avoid. So we serve God. We consciously serve God. That's what Shalom Malchus was. He said Malchus is avoid. It means that we're supposed to consciously serve God. So Shmuel told him no. He told him, Hine shmoya mi zevach toiv. You want zevach. You want abzuschechten the Eitzara. You don't want to get rid of our mother because you want us morgen zusammen weiter können abschechten. You don't want to get rid of the Eitzara because you want the ganze Zeit zusammen schechten the Eitzara. You should always fight the Eitzara and shecht up the Eitzara, and that's Malchus. Malchus avoid the abzuschechten the Eitzara. No. Malchus is shmoya. Hine shmoya mi zevach toiv. Ein Herren is besser wie abschechten. Malchus is just to do what God wants, not avoid it. Not up to Shech. Malchus is just to do what God wants. If God says do it easy, just end it all now, that's Malchus. Do it easy, just end it all now. Just listen. Just listen. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. So, in other words, basically a repeat of the dialectic that Arizal expresses in reference to the original sin, the Chet. Now, why am I saying all these things about Reb Tzaddik and all this? I'm leading up to something. I'm leading up to this. I'm leading up to Shtickl Kuf Yud Zayin in Tzidkes HaTzadik. Kol Misha Noki Michitei HaTayv. Whoever is pure, clean from Chatoyim of Taiva, sins of desire, carnal desire especially, Tzorich Shmira Yisere Binyonei Kas V'Retziche Shal Olua. V'Kiyodua Deloi Sirtzoch V'Loi Sinof Heim Beis HaFeichim V'Heim Yemin U'Smoil Bera. That, interestingly, strikingly, he says that someone who is very oiskar, but very worked out, spiritually developed, in terms of overcoming carnal desire, and has purified himself and cleansed himself in that regard, it comes with certain dangers. If someone is very worked out in that regard, he stands, because of the nature of human psychology, psychological spirituality / spiritual psychology, because of the nature of that, because of the nature of the creature, someone who is very worked out in terms of the overcoming of carnal desire, the lusts of the flesh, someone who has overcome those things to a very great extent, it puts himself in danger of falling into murderousness, is more vulnerable to the sins that come from the side of anger and murderousness. It's necessary to have a certain balance. The thing is, of course, this is playing off in Kabbalah the opposition between Chesed and Gvura. And on the one hand, there's Chesed, which is loving kindness, which represents divine emanation, God sending down His light to nourish us, and on the other hand, there's Din, Gvura, strength, constriction, where God holds back the light, constricts the light, etc. Now, for each one of these things, as we tried to flesh out a little bit earlier, there's a good side and a bad side. Things can be used for good, things can be used for evil on both sides. But so, of course, chesed, loving kindness, we understand that it's good to do good for people, and God desires that. Of course, there's also it's an expression of love. However, there's also the evil side. There's an inappropriate love of the place where it's inappropriate, like Chazal say, whoever has mercy upon the cruel, it is as if he is cruel to the merciful, because at the end the results will wind up leading to more violence and more oppression. And that's like with Shaul HaMelech, who had Rachmanis on Agog when he wasn't supposed to, and so on. Also, we know that the pasuk says sometimes in the parasha of Arayas, forbidden relations. Sometimes it says Chesedi. What does it mean, Chesedi? Don't lie with this woman, Chesedi. So, of course, the Kabbalists say Chesedi means this is the clip of Chesed. Even forbidden relations, illicit relations, incestuous relations, it is an expression of a certain kind of love.
but it's a love which is overflowing the bounds. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. It should not be. It's chesed, but it's the clip of chesed. It's chesed, but it's the clip of chesed. It's the husk. It's the evil side of chesed. Of course, as previously mentioned.
You have to get through the husk to get to the center.
How do you get through it?
You understand that that's Sabbatianism. That's Sabbatianism. The idea is that it's possible to break everything and fix everything through using the midah in the right way. So the point would be to use the midah of love in the right way, not to go to that love which is forbidden. Not to go to that love which is forbidden. Now, of course, on the other side, along the lines we tried to flesh out earlier a little bit, even violence has its place, and there are times when it's appropriate, and sometimes one must kill in the name of the Lord. And
Shmuel did it too. He did it too.
By Yeshasef Shmuel, that's how
split him in half.
Yes, he split him in half. Yes. Kasher shiklo noshim charbecho kind.
The golden mean might be sadomasochism.
Thank you. But the Tzaddik is saying, the Tzaddik is going on one side here in Kuf Yud Zayin. He isn't saying what you just need to have some kind of balance. He's stressing the fact that someone who was very worked out, someone who was clean, pure of the sins of the flesh, is in danger of falling into sins of anger and murderousness, etc. He plays it on one side. He stresses one side. He doesn't go both ways here. He plays it on one side, and it goes on and on with that. That he stresses the dangers of one who is pure, cleansed, worked out in terms of sins of the flesh. That one who is worked out in terms of sins of the flesh runs the danger of falling into anger and murderousness. Because by cleansing himself of sins of the flesh, he's pushing away the inappropriate chesed. But he might be pushing away too much chesed. He might be bending away from chesed too much there. He might be bending away from chesed too much there, thus allowing within himself a strengthening of gvuras. Thus allowing within himself a strengthening of gvuras, a strengthening of the side of harsh judgment and anger, which carries its dangers. As long as if one is pure, and if one is pure and cleansed, clean, not tainted by sins of the flesh, he runs the danger. He runs the risk of falling into sins of murderousness and anger. These are two sides. Chesed and Gvura. These are two sides. It goes on. That it says that Chassidim speak a lot about Shmiras HaBris. Look, Rabbi say, I'm talking about delicate things, so I assume that I'm speaking to adults. I in no way do I intend to. The law is the law, and sin is sin.